Welcome to Chapter 2 of the HTML course. In this section, we're going to look at text markup. This is how we structure our text using HTML. Now, I've already pulled up my Komodo text editor, and what I want to do is start a brand new HTML document. So I'm going to click File, New, and you'll notice there's an option here called New from Template. The New from Template option will provide the basic document structure for me. We're going to do an XHTML basic document structure, so I'm going to choose there. Then I just need to choose the file name and the location. So I'm going to call this basic markup.html, and then I've got to choose a directory to store it in. So I'm going to store it in the same directory that I'm storing my video files. So video, Udemy, HTML. All right, and there we go. So now we're all set. I'm going to click Open, and it's going to open the basic document structure for me. Isn't that a lot easier than typing it in yourself? All right, so let's put a title in there, and we'll call this Basic Text Markup. Now, there's a couple of different tags that we're going to use to mark up the text. The first and probably the most common one you'll use is the paragraph tag. The paragraph tag allows you to do just what it sounds like, put in paragraphs. So this is some text. Now, the paragraph tag is a block level text. This is some more text. And what that means as a block level tag is that it basically is going to stretch, unless we tell it otherwise using CSS, all the way across the screen. Everything we put in the paragraph tag is going to appear as a block. Let's go ahead and see how this looks. I'm going to preview using my text editor here. I can preview in any of my text editors or in a separate tag that simulates a browser. Sorry, not text editors, browsers. All right, so there we get the first line. This is some text, and that's what I had between the paragraph tags. And then this is some more text. Now, I'd like you to notice something important here. This is another line in the first paragraph element. Good. Oops, spelled paragraph wrong. Doesn't really matter except for looking silly. All right, so let's go ahead and save. Now, notice it ignored my carriage return. And that's because browsers, when they're looking at HTML, ignore carriage returns and they ignore multiple spaces. So all it did between this is some text and this is another line in the first paragraph element is create a space. Now, if I wanted to break right here, I could with the break tag. That's BR. Now, this is another one of those funny tags that doesn't have a closing tag. We close and open it at the same time, which is why we have the trailing slash within the tag. That's unlike the paragraph tag, which opens here on line 8 and closes here on line 9. Don't forget, an opening tag, its content, and its closing tag are an element. So this is a paragraph element that I've highlighted. All right, let's save, and now we can see the break is processed, and we're on different lines within the same paragraph element. And we still skip a line here. Now, you may be wondering, why does it look this way? And that's because browsers have within them something called the default style sheet. Now, the default style sheet in Firefox, Safari, and Chrome varies very, very slightly. So if we preview this in Firefox, it's actually going to look pretty similar to the way it looks in Komodo's internal testing browser. If we also preview it in Safari, my Safari has to load here. I didn't have it loaded up. But if we preview it in Safari, again, it's going to look very, very similar. The default style sheet is the reason we have text that is approximately 12 point, and there's a reason that it uses Times New Roman as the default character set. Now let me bring Komodo back up here, and now that we have it up, let's take a look at a different set of text markup tags. These are heading tags. So the first one is H1. That is generally the most important heading. So actually, let's put this above our paragraph content. This was rendered by an H1 tag. We'll close the H1 tag here. We'll save. And let's take a look at this in Komodo's little browser. And there we get an H1. Now, I don't want you to think of H1 as big and bold. That's how it appears in the default style sheet, but you could choose using CSS, as we'll see later, to adjust the size and the boldness of that text and choose to make H1 represented by a darker color or a background color or some other way to denote the most important text. Now, following H1 would be H2, a next level header. So this is a second level header. So if we save, it automatically updates the little browser here in Komodo. And you notice this one is smaller, and H2s are less important than H1s. We have H3s. This is a third level header. There we go. And again, smaller still, represented by the default style sheet. The lowest level header is an H6 header. This is a sixth level header. Now, of course, we have an H5 and an H4 as well. Just in the interest of time, I'm not going to show you all of them. So there's a sixth level header. It's rare that you'd go beyond a third level header unless you're marking up a specific scientific document or something that's got a lot of different levels of outline indentation. So those are our heading tags. Now, heading tags are said to be important for search engine optimization. Your search engines will pay a lot of attention to the heading tags on your page, and they will use those to look for keywords and to figure out what your page is all about so your page can be indexed correctly in the search engine. So you want to make sure you have H1s and H2s on every page that have your keywords within them. So that's H1, H2, H3, H6. We've looked at paragraph, break. Now, these are also block level tags. You'll notice when we close the H1, we go to the next line. So let's try now strong. Strong is for text that you want to appear strongly. Now, it has an appearance on the default style sheet as well. This lesson was hosted by, then I'm going to use a strong tag, strong, Mark Lassoff. Close my strong tag, close my paragraph tag. So notice we always have tags within tags within tags. Let's save. And according to the default style sheet, strong text appears bold. Now, in the old days, there actually used to be a bold tag. If I do this, it actually still works and appears in bold. But we want to use actually strong. We want to use what's current, because strong can be changed by the style sheet. And strong doesn't describe how the text looks, it describes the function. And remember, that's the purpose of HTML, is to describe the function or the structure of the text within the document. The look and feel of the document is really the job of cascading style sheets, of CSS. So we've gone to strong and away from the bold tag. So we also have one more called emphasis. This course is called, and we do emphasis like EM, just like that, HTML and CSS with HTML5. Close the emphasis tag, close the paragraph tag. Now I bet you can guess how the default style sheet renders emphasis. And there we go. So the default style sheet renders emphasis as italics. And of course, if we were to take a look in any of the major browsers, it's going to render it roughly the same way. There we are looking at Firefox, and you can see the rendering is exactly the same as we get in Komodo's little browser as well. And if you looked at Internet Explorer, if you're on a PC, or any other browser, it would look exactly the same. So in this video, we reviewed a number of text markup tags. We looked at the paragraph tags. We explained what block level tags are. We looked at the break tag to move to the next line. And I reminded you that the break tag is an empty tag, so we close it as soon as we open it. We looked at the heading tags, H1 through H6. And finally, we looked at strong and emphasis.